Good evening and welcome to the regular City Council meeting of July 20th. Clerk, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please take the roll.
Mayor Hartke,
Here.
Vice Mayor Orlando,
Here.
Councilmember Encinas,
Present.
Councilmember Ellis,
Here.
Councilmember Stewart,
Here.
Councilmember Harris,
Here.
Councilmember Poston.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Councilmember Harris and Vice Mayor for out of your not being here. It's always harder to jump in on these calls, but we appreciate your wisdom and insight and leadership in our community as well. With that, I'd like to invite Pastor Mark Rosington from Epiphany Lutheran Church to lead us in an invocation, and Councilmember Mark Stewart to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we ask for your blessing of discernment and guidance upon these council members tonight. We ask that they would make decisions that would be free of bias and prejudice, that even when they make decisions that are against their own interests, may they find satisfaction that they're making decisions that are the best for the city. We ask that all business is brought before the council tonight, all decisions made would be for the benefit of all the residents of Chandler, all the business owners of Chandler, and all those who visit our great city. We thank you for the many blessings that you have given to us this day. And finally, we remember those who are at disadvantage and being out in the heat. We thank you for city agencies and other charities which seek to find them and offer them aid from the heat. Bless those efforts this evening. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Councilmember. Council, on Monday, you had some robust conversations related to the agenda. It's a good agenda, a lot of infrastructure repair and work with parks and water. And is there any interest in moving any item to action? If not, a motion would be in order for our consent agenda. Wow, never have to wait this long.
Mayor, I move to approve the proposed motion to approve the consent agenda of the July 20th, 2023 regular meeting, items 1 through 33.
So we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Encinas for a second. Any recusals? Any points of interest from council? Hearing none, please vote.
Vice Mayor Orlando,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
motion carries unanimously.
All right, thank you, council. We do have one action item tonight. We could get a brief presentation on just the fee schedule related to management services, public works utilities that we're voting on tonight. Thank you, Matthew.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Great to be here talking with you tonight about some citywide fee schedule adjustments that we're proposing to make. As with any time you're making an adjustment, sometimes you have to kind of evaluate those things that you're doing. And, you know, my dad once told me that if you want to make a difference in the world, sometimes you have to put your money where your mouth is. And he was right. You can taste the change. All right. So this evening, we're talking about Resolution 5696, and we have an overview of kind of our annual review. So each year, the departments review their fees as part of the budget process. And typically, the effective start date of new fees is July 1st. This year's a little delayed to an August 1st effective date for these fees, but as they can be set later to accommodate communication, posting, and system changes. And these recommendations, again, are proposed to be recommended for an August 1st of 2023 implementation. So an overview of our fee characteristics. Fees are assessed for use of facilities or services benefiting specific groups. Typically, this ensures that taxes charged to support the general service benefit all, whereas if someone's receiving an individual use or service that they're paying for those uses or services. Fees reflect the recovery of those costs to provide the service unless the market demands a lower rate. And the authority to charge must exist in the city code. So our fees amounts are specific and set by resolution. An overview of our schedule. The departments propose their fee updates in January, February timeframe. The proposed fees are analyzed and summarized, verified in the city code that the authority exists to charge the fee in March and April. They're posted online for 60 days at least, and they've been posted on our website since May 19th of 23. They're also posted and published a notice of intent to amend the citywide fee schedule, and we do social media postings as well. This evening, we have two departments that are proposing fee updates: management services and public works and utilities. For management services, the fee is for a short-term rental license and license renewal fee. As you'll recall, recently a new short-term license was introduced to mayor and council. You voted in favor of that short-term license, and this would authorize a fee to be collected for those short-term licenses as well as a renewal fee. Would authorize a $250 license fee and a $250 annual renewal fee associated with the license. And this would be in effect for those not currently licensed. When they do their renewal, they would have to pay the fee as they would be grandfathered in, but those that would be net new additions to the short-term rental license would pay the fee after August 1st. With that, I'll ask for any questions on this one. Ryan Peters, who worked diligently with the short-term rentals with our management services team and tax and license, is able to answer any questions you may have on this one.
Council, any questions on this? Councilmember Ellis.
During my one-on-one with the city manager, he mentioned that the fee that we are charging is not even enough to actually cover all the different things. So what are we doing in that instance to cover or to mitigate all of that?
That might be a better question for actually Don Lang to answer. I don't know that Ryan wants.
Yeah, I just don't want the people to think that we're charging the fee because we want to make money as the
Right.
city. I wanted to bring that up, that the fact that we're not even charging enough to cover the process.
Yeah, through the mayor, Councilmember Ellis, the statute actually limits the max that cities can charge, and that is $250. So the rest of the cost to collect that fee is absorbed just in general taxes. Okay.
Councilmember Stewart.
Mayor, thank you. That's a great question. What are those things that we do for the licensing?
Through the mayor, Councilmember Stewart, we have a software that helps us identify short-term rentals. So there's that annual maintenance along with the staff. We have to send letters once the software identifies what could potentially be a short-term rental. Staff then generates letters that get mailed that help educate, I guess, people who have short-term rentals and have them contact the city so that we can talk to them about the new statute around short-term rentals and of course our new code language, because a lot of people just don't know. So we work with the public extensively, and it's quite a bit of time to do that. And that's really just the licensing portion of it that we can substantiate with this cost. But of course, there's many other costs around this with public safety and so on. But that's not part of this overall analysis that we did to charge the $250. Okay?
Any additional questions on this part?
Yeah, Mayor.
Vice Mayor.
Yeah, under the summary proposed or modification, the little chart staff put together, which is good. In the verbiage, it says this will be effective July 1st, 2023. Yet I heard August 2023. Which date does that need to be amended if we make an amendment here, or that's? I'm concerned about legality here.
Yeah, through the mayor, vice mayor, if the posting said July 1st, we can do it at that date or later, but it cannot be before mayor and council have actually approved the resolution for the fee change. So the first effective date, it could be possible, would be August 1st. Well, actually, it could be tomorrow if you approve it tonight, but we're not anticipating a tomorrow implementation date. It would be an August 1st implementation date.
understand. I just want to make sure we're legal. It says it's to anticipate these amendments will be presented to council with changes effective 1 July. I'm just, again, want to make sure that we're in sync here. That's all.
Mayor, I can,
City Attorney.
thank you, sir. Yeah, I think we just need to clarify that these fees, if approved, will not go into effect until August 1st. And that's just a clarification. It's not a legal impediment to proceeding with action on this
Okay.
item tonight.
Okay, as long as we're stating that, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Proceed.
Mayor,
Councilmember Harris.
just got a question for the city attorney. City attorney, I wanted to know, if we say yes to this action today, do we have to put it into effect August the 1st, or could we say September the 1st? And then my last question is that, is this a little bit different from, sometimes we have to read ordinances twice before we implement something new? Is this different, or is this, we don't have to do that?
If I may, Mayor?
City Attorney.
Thank you. This is not an ordinance. We do not have the to-read requirement for it. It can go into effect as quickly as the council desires. If the council would like a little longer implementation to September 1st, I would recommend that be included in a motion and see what the council votes. And just a reminder, by law and by our process, these fees have been posted for public comment on our website for a period of time, over 60 days.
So this should not catch anyone. I mean, hypothetically, that it's been out there. I realize that, just because it's out there, people won't see it, but neither will necessarily our conversations here tonight. And August 1st was just a date of that just made sense. And there's nothing magical about that, but at the same time, it makes sense. Any additional comments on this, council? Okay, move on, please.
All right, the other department that has a fee change is Public Works and Utilities. And I'll do a brief overview of it, and then if there's questions, John Knutson from the Public Works Director will be able to answer those. Basically, this would remove the separate fees for residential property and non-residential property for those that are applying for a right-of-way vacation, which in my mind, I thought, a beach umbrella on a right-of-way, but that's not what this is. This is a right-of-way that they're abandoning so that it's not going to be in use, either our right-of-way or their right-of-way. To process that, there's an application fee currently, and it's dependent upon the property type, not the individual requesting the vacation. And so the request is to remove those separate fees and charge just the one fee, application fee of $1,000 to help recover actual costs incurred by staff time. Staff does a lot of research and spends a lot of time on these right-of-way vacation applications. In a similar vein, we also have a separate fee for residential and non-residential property for extinguishment of easement applications. One is $200 if it's a residential property. The other is a $500 fee for a non-residential property. And really there's no distinguishment in the level of work or effort that goes by staff into these application reviews. And so the request is to change that to one individual fee of $500. Typically, these fees are requested by developers and sometimes residents when they request to have certain segments of right-of-way or easement evaluated, and these fees help recover the cost of services for these specific application items.
Council questions? Hearing none, continue.
Okay. With that, Mayor and Council, I'll be open to any additional questions you may have.
Does not appear we have any additional questions. Thank you. Council, with that, a motion would be in order. Councilmember Ellis.
Number 34 out of the actual agenda tonight. Of this, let me start back again. Move City Council pass and adopt resolution number 5696 amending the city fee schedule relating to the management services and public works and utility department with fee changes effective August 1st, 2023.
All right, Council, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Encinas. Council, please vote.
Vice Mayor Orlando,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris.
Yes.
Motion carries by majority with Councilmember Stewart dissenting.
Very good. Council, we do have a number of unscheduled speaker cards here tonight regarding around the library and library books. I see 5, I think. Yes. To those of you who desire to come and address the council tonight, again, you'll be speaking to us, not the audience, and you have up to 3 minutes to share your thoughts and concerns. Since this is unscheduled public appearance, we cannot address your concerns, so we cannot answer any questions that you have, but we'll certainly have staff look at, get back to you and make sure that they can have a further dialogue around your concerns. I would ask if you are saying the same thing that the person behind you or in front of you is going to say, you could say amen to what they said or in your own language, but you have up to 3 minutes. When the light is green, that will give you that indication. When it's yellow, please wrap up. When it's red, it's time to stop at that point. I will take these in the order that I have received these. So our first person up, and when you come up, if you'd state your name and address for the record, would be Lois Sugar. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Lois Sugar. I am at 2342 West Redwood Drive, Chandler, Arizona, in the great area of Ocotillo, third home in that area. I am here today to talk about the library and some of the activities and books and things that are going on in the library. I did retire from Chandler School District. I helped to open Hamilton High School, and I helped to open a couple of the other schools in the district. I also have a degree as a counselor for education. Um, One of the concerns that I have, and I know that sorry, I'm here first. I was hoping to be later. But one of the main concerns that I have is that I realized that something new was added on, I believe in April, the book and board lounge. I'm concerned about the content, not only of some of the books that parents and other people are finding, but now we've brought the digital world into this. And I understand that you are allowing digital gaming inside the library. Okay. As well as that, the other thing I'm concerned about is your author in residence program. Um, and what I'm going to ask is the process that you are choosing these people, these programs, the books that you are putting on the shelves. Who is on a committee? Who is choosing this material? Do parents, community members have any right or any say as to what video games they or their children are seeing or the books that they or their children are hearing? Your author in residence, Sharon Skinner, um, being an ex-English teacher also, I looked up some of her books. One of the books that she recommends for people to read is Charles Manson and the Creepy Crawl. Now, I doesn't sound like something I would enjoy reading, nor would I enjoy my grandchildren reading that. Okay. Another one that she says for people to read, Say the Right Thing, How to Talk About Identity and Justice and Diversity. And I know that people will be talking about books like that later. Again, who chose this speaker? She herself wrote Collars and Curses, Shape Shifting Witchcraft, Elves, and Dark Curses that create engaging urban fantasy. That's one of her best sellers. Another one of her bestsellers, The Healer's Trilogy, talking about an order of healing that mystical creatures do. And there's a full list on the city website that shows these books. Again, are these appropriate? Did parents or anybody in the community have any say over any of these selections or this person who is presenting this information?
Thank you, Ms. Sugar. Next person up is Andrew Adams. Again, please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you for your time tonight, Council. My name is Andrew Adams. My address is 880 East Devon Road. I grew up in the Chandler Unified School District schools. I went to Jacobson, Bogle, and to Hamilton. That's where I graduated from. I'm a father, I'm a small business owner, and I'm asking the council today to help us stop the sexualization of our children. You just heard about a few books that are in the library. When I was a kid and I was growing up and I was going through school, having books like this offered to 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds was not something that at least I saw when I was going through school. I was not exposed to any of this material, and I grew up to be a tolerant, accepting, contributing member of my community. I have no bias towards transgender people, homosexual people, or anybody. If you love America, you're my friend. So seeing the kind of content that is in these books, graphic images of masturbation, stories about, children transgender, I don't think this stuff belongs in schools. I think these lessons are lessons that parents should be teaching their kids. I think these are situations where parents should be informing their kids. And when I just see the public, when you watch TV and you see things like 16 and pregnant and preteen and pregnant, I think one of the biggest problems is kids younger and younger that have no business being involved in this kind of content are being exposed to it. And that's having very dire repercussions on our public. So we've identified kind of where this stuff is coming from. I really respect the council and I appreciate the time to present this, but council, please, our kids are under attack. Every day they push the line further and further. My 1-year-old daughter's here tonight. I saw some of the images are in these books. If anyone was showing my daughter some of the images in these books, they'd be dealing with me personally. I don't think this stuff belongs in our library. I don't think it belongs anywhere near kids the age it's being presented to. So I'm begging the council, please help us do whatever you can to stop the sexualization of our children. This is not about being anti anybody. Okay, so thank you for your time and I appreciate your help.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker card is from Riley Morgan. Again, Riley, you've got up to 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Riley Morgan.
Please wait till you get up to the mic there.
Sorry.
There you go.
My name is Riley Morgan. Address is 19124 East Lawndale Place, Queen Creek, Arizona. And I genuinely do not think it's a good idea to have books in the libraries for kids that are talking about a subject they should not learn till they are allowed to move out of their parents' house. Because imagine if your child just goes to school, comes back, and asks you, "What is an STD?" You're gonna be like, "How does he learn this? How did she learn this? What is going on?" It's just an awkward situation that no one wants to be in, and it's just not good for the kids, including me. So please take the very inappropriate books that do not make anyone feel comfortable out of our schools. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Well done. Next speaker card is from Carly Morgan. Carly, again, state your name and address for the record. You have up to 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Carly Morgan. I am Riley's proud mom. We went to the library today here at the Chandler Public Library, and we found that there's a section upstairs for minors that are 18 and younger. And so I went and checked out a book with my son, but I needed him to go with me in order to even get this book. I had to have a minor child with me to get the book. And so it's called Perfectly Normal. And it says on the cover here that it's a definitive book about puberty and sexual health for today's kids and teens. And I'm not sure as a parent that sexual needs to be in the same sentence with kids or teens, or why we would be teaching kids about sex. And it says this book is for ages 10 and up. So keep that in mind as we preview a little bit about this book that's in the children's sections for minors only that kids can get to. So it talks about sexual desire and sexual intercourse. And it says sexual intercourse happens when a female and a male feel very sexy and very attracted to each other. To each other. They want to be very close to each other in a sexual way, so close that the male's penis goes into the female's vagina, and the vagina stretches open in a way that fits around the penis. When this happens, it is possible for a female and a male, once their reproductive organs have grown up, to make a baby. But most people don't have sexual intercourse only when they want to make a baby. Most often, they have sexual intercourse just because it feels good. And then there's a picture of a boy and a girl in bed having sex. And then it says sexual intercourse is having sex, can involve the penis and the vagina, or the mouth and the genitals, or the penis and the anus. After sexual intercourse that involves the vagina and the penis, the female can become pregnant. But there are ways that people can help protect themselves from having a baby. It talks about AIDS, it talks about straight and gay, homosexuality, and heterosexuality chapters. It also has a lot of pictures of naked people, from toddlers with penises to young girls with sprouting little bud breasts and a little bit of pubic hair to adults with a lot of pubic hair and very big breasts. So every page has young girls, teenagers naked in showers, pictures of boys in locker rooms naked in their schools, depicting that they're in their school locker rooms. And then they have this thing about the female sex organs, and it says a thin piece of skin, body fact. A thin piece of skin called the hymen covers the part of the opening to the vagina. When a girl is growing, or when she is very active while exercising or playing a sport, or sometimes when she first uses a tampon, or during the first time she has sexual intercourse, the hymen stretches and may tear a bit, and the opening becomes somewhat larger. And then it gives you a picture of how to bend over as a female with a mirror to look at your vagina and your anus so that you can find those body parts. And it's a
Thank you,
young
Miss
girl.
Morgan.
Yes. And then going on to the male sex organs,
Miss
it says,
Morgan, you're out of time now.
oh, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And our last speaker card is from Cindy Barnes. Cindy, again, state your name and address for the record. You're welcome to, you've got 3 minutes.
Well, I sound like a broken record. Cindy Barnes, 1601 North Saba Street, Chandler, Arizona, 85225. I too went to the library, but I go quite often. I have 3 toddler granddaughters. I'm a retired teacher. I'm a Girl Scout leader. And I found some very interesting books. Language of Seabirds. This is a chapter book. None of my toddler kids would have picked it up, but it's the main purpose of the songbirds, the seabirds, the language is secret, being secret. It's 2 12-year-old boys that fall in love and explore with each other, and then they're secret and they're anti police. There's no reason any book has to do with anti-police or being secret with adults needs to be given to children under 18. This one was in the toddler section, the hard books. I'm sure you all remember those. That would be for a 1, 2-year-old talking about he, she, or not she. They don't know how to speak, let alone know their pronouns. This one is I Am Jazz. It's a boy who wants to be a girl, or a girl who wants to be a boy. I don't know. This was not too terribly bad. I thought it was appropriate, especially for girls that want to be a tomboy, or vice versa, the boys that want to be. So this one wasn't bad. And this one, I was surprised, was a history of Harvey Milk. He was the very first gay elected official in the US. And it was the story of the flag. So I approve of this. But when we get into pronouns and teaching explicit exploration of sex between young boys being secretive to their parents and anti-police, I'm opposed to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, that's all the cards that we have gone in, and city manager, please make sure that our audience speakers have the opportunity to greater, maybe individually share their concerns and see if there's what we can say or do beyond
Mayor.
this meeting. City, Councilmember
City
Stewart.
Manager,
Yeah,
thank you, Mayor.
I knew you were going to say that.
No,
so-
I always appreciate when the public shows up and expresses kind of what's going on versus an email and kind of shares what they're seeing out in the community. City Manager, if you could do me a favor, I'd like to get a little bit of a breakdown or at least a briefing from our head librarian on how the minors section of the library works and where the book selection, how that's managed. If you could do that for us, that'd be great.
Yeah. Mayor, Councilmember Stewart will provide you with some background information as well as connect with each of the speakers tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Great. All right. Next on our agenda is council announcements, and I'll start. One of my big saddest moments this year so far was not being able to participate in the 4 Hour City Day. I've made the last 9, and but from what I hear, this was the most amazing ever. And I think Councilmember Ellis is going to share some details that I don't need to, other than we set a record of kids shared, of kids served. I do want to thank all of the volunteers and sponsors who were involved. What an incredible difference that you made. And Councilmember Ellis, thanks for carrying the water for us. And I don't know if any other council member was there. I know you participated and were for this program, but thank you, Council, for your leadership, particularly with this. Secondly, I do want to just briefly talk about road safety. As we know, we have our students that are heading back to school, so there's more people walking to school, driving to school, biking to school. And believe it or not, they're not always paying attention, perhaps at the way that you believe, and I believe that they should. So please be patient around school zones. There's a lot more traffic. Keep in mind, everyone is adjusting to new schedules, and we'll find a sense of equilibrium like we do every year, but it's particularly hectic that first week. And at the same time, we're experiencing a heat wave here, aren't we? It's been brutally hot over the last several weeks, and it's supposed to continue with monsoons not quite in sight. So I would like to remind everyone, parents, if your kids are walking to school, make sure that particularly that way home to remind them again and again to stay hydrated. Everyone else, please be aware of your situation, your circumstances, so you're not out in the sun more than you need to. I saw Councilmember Ellis carrying an umbrella to the council meeting tonight to stay out of the heat. Well done. It's also a great idea, if you know or if you have others to know, to be aware of where our heat relief stations are. And there's several, not only libraries, but others that you can go in, seek water, cool off. And these locations can be found at chandleraz.gov/heat relief. And lastly, the reason I wasn't able to be at this our most awesome event is that I spent some time as a mayor in Kansas City with 7 other mayors with Institute of Creative Design, Mayor's Institute on City Design. And each of us brought a project. This is a program sponsored by the National Endowment of Arts and other groups. And the project that I brought is, council, was one that we recently approved, this canal in South Chandler that fed the community of Goodyear. And I really would like to see how we can make this more than just a canal with a kiosk. That particular canal that's only 100 yards long, and then we run into Bash's private property and then there. So I look forward to some folks that will continue to help us in working with staff to see how we can make this a true amenity, perhaps event-driven amenity in our south part of the community with that tremendous area of Snedeker Park on the bottom. But what a great time. And Councilmember Stewart, I got a tour of the women's pro soccer stadium that is opening next March. So we got a pre-up tour of this thing, and I knew with your love of soccer, I've just created great envy with you. The second part of this program, I flew from there to New York City to be part of a Bloomberg Harvard City Leader Initiative with 39 other mayors. And this program provides training and guiding and a lot of education on different things for mayors and senior leaders with tools that will help expand our problem solving, strengthen our city halls, improve communications, and help us be truly data driven. And on a personal note, it was amazing for me to be in the same room with the mayor of Wellington, New Zealand, Cape Town, South Africa, Amsterdam, Netherlands, uh, Calgary, Alberta, many from California, Pennsylvania, Kansas. They've been everywhere, man. They've been everywhere. And I really believe that this will help us as a city do a good job of not just saying we are a city of innovation, but having some more tools to help us be that. And not just say that we're data driven, but go to a deeper level to where that our citizens have great access to what are we doing and why are we doing it, and we'll have great access to the same as. And I know we're an extremely collaborative city, but I don't know anything that we do that we can't improve on. So I'm excited with a couple of our staffers to begin this journey over the next year and see how we can make Chandler even better. So thank you, Council, for allowing me to be gone for a week and learn some more. Councilmember Encinas.
No announcements for me this week.
Thank you. Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. Really appreciate it. I mean, when you talked about the back to school, it was a great success. It was epic this year. You missed it, but these things they don't happen in a vacuum. It took a whole community to come together and make it happen, as you can see in those pictures. People come from all over the campus, opened their campus for us, and we have kids from all over. I mean, the lines were wrapped all around. I want to thank all the volunteers and everyone that took part into this, and really, really warmed my heart to see all the communities come together. We were able to pass out 2,500 backpacks, 4,000 pair of socks and underwear, and then 550 pairs of shoes. Also, 165 haircuts was done. And it was not just any haircut. It was haircut that the kids were walking away feeling so good, shaking their hair, feeling really proud that they had somebody really took the time to do their hair. I had a real good time with everyone that was there, and we were. It was hot. It was hot. We had to keep telling everyone keep drinking. I think I'm still recuperating from that. I'm trying to stay hydrated, but Chandler knows how to do it, and we did it really grand, and everybody had a real good time. Thank you again to everyone, and I can't thank for our city enough for having put this together. And I know next year they're already planning to make it even better. And the last thing, Mayor, I'm leaving for this week, at the end of the week for New York. And while I'm there, I will have an opportunity to visit with the embassy, the Haitian embassy in New York. And then also we'll have a chance to go to United Nations and bring Chandler's name there. And my job is to make sure that Chandler's global. And everywhere I go, I bring it, and making sure that everybody knows about it. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah. And thank you for Chandler Christian Church or Chandler Compass Church. Compass Church for hosting this. It was the first time, and everything I've heard, it was amazing. So, yeah. Councilmember Stewart.
Thank you, Mayor. And I want to give a shout out to Officer Jay Clark, who I had the privilege of going on a ride along this Saturday. And if you haven't been on a ride along and you follow things going on at the city, it was absolutely amazing. And I got to tell you, this police force, we ran around all night long, and fortunately, it was uneventful, which is just a testament to how things are being done in our city. I know that crime continues to decrease, but it's a professional group. It's extremely community focused. And when you sit with somebody for 6 hours, You know, the first 2 hours is kind of like it's real fluffy and it's all but as you sit with somebody for a while, you kind of really get to into those conversations. You kind of talk about what's going on, and it was very evident to me. There's a spirit of service, and I think that permeates throughout the police force. It's not just Officer Clark that shared that, but when I was on scene with unfortunately a motorcycle accident, I could feel this spirit of service that was just coming from all the officers and the fire department that was on scene. And you wouldn't believe how fast we were first on scene, which was in about 40 seconds, maybe a minute, and there were probably 5 police officers there within 3 minutes, and the fire department was there in under 4 minutes, maybe even 3 minutes. It was like that, and helping this gentleman. And fortunately, he's going to be okay. But I just wanted to share a big thank you to Jay and the rest of the team out there keeping the streets safe. It was a good time, and I'm glad there were no big events. So that's all I had tonight, Mayor. And and by the way, Jay was a product of the lateral program that Chief brought us a few years ago that we all voted in. And so he came from another department. He said it is a world of difference here compared to what he's used to. So that was a testament. So thank you. Thank you, Chief.
That was a good plug. Well done. That was more than just an
It
announcement.
was real. It was legit. Thanks.
Councilmember Poston.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Well, that kind of dovetails off of Councilmember Stewart. Tomorrow I'll be doing a Facebook Live about a program that council started some time ago. We're about midway through converting our LED lights. We're about halfway through. I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live talking to some of our traffic folks on what they're doing, how it affects our residents. And the reason that dovetails with police is because these are energy efficient lights and there's a significant cost savings there. And that will be going to fund new officers. So they will continue to be able to do the job that they do. So if you want, join me for my Facebook Live. That'll be on the Chandler AZ City Council Facebook page. So it should be pretty interesting. I actually got up in a bucket to test it out today. Don't know if I'll be doing that tomorrow, but it should be fun. But it really is a great program. It's very significant to pretty much everyone who lives here in Chandler. So I just thought it was interesting, like to highlight all sorts of different programs that they do. It's both police and our public works department. So thank you very much. And then wishing our CUSD students a safe and happy year. I'm sure they're excited to be back.
Councilmember Poston, those getting in one of those vehicles has always been on my bucket list.
I speechless.
I was gonna ask her if she's gonna get in the box.
Got a thumbs up from Dunbar over there.
City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, Councilmember Poston, I don't think it's just the kids that are happy to be back in COST. I think the parents are happy to have them back in, and I would count myself as one of those. So my 2 kids went back to school as well, and I am thrilled that that's where they are. So excellent. I just wanted to make a couple of brief announcements regarding staff, and thank you, Mayor and Councilmember Ellis, for bringing up Operation Back to School. I wanted to particularly highlight the efforts of one of our staff who was our primary liaison for that event. Cici Cantabrana did a phenomenal job working with For Our City, and we tremendously appreciate all of her efforts over many months to prepare for that event as well. Also, just a great reminder to me today is we had a power outage affecting the downtown area. APS's service area has been out, and they're working very quickly to get that restored. But just a great reminder to me of what a phenomenal staff we have, that they spring into action so quickly on so many fronts to make sure that our residents are taken care of. So just real quick, wanted to highlight our police department, fire, our development services, traffic engineering division, public works and utilities, neighborhood resources, strategic initiatives, communications and public affairs, and our facilities and fleet division have all been active today to make sure that our people are taken care of. And I know some of them are still working now with disadvantaged residents who need that additional assistance, and working with our partners like Salvation Army to get them, especially in this very, very hot part of the year, the services they need. So just wanted to thank them for doing what they do so well every single day. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Council, with that concludes our meeting.